Hearing the question of his elder, the martial artist surnamed Deng nodded helplessly. Oh. The Void Return stage cultivator looked happy. Since you know him, it's easy. Deng Ning, tell this little brother carefully that Elder Jin she needs that piece of profound gold and see if he can cut out some losses. This demon blood temple disciple was surprisingly Deng Ning, who Yang Kai had seen before. When he came out of Flowing Flame Sand Field, Yang Kai happened to encounter him being chased by two fellow sect's disciples. At that time, he helped him. The demon blood thread secret technique was obtained from Deng Ning's hands. The power of this secret technique is huge, which helped Yang Kai a lot. Later, Deng Ning also reported about the news, and led Yang Kai to the Demon Blood City. After relying on the relationship to use the space law formation there, Yang Kai was sent to another city and returned to Heavenly Fate City. From this level of relationship alone, Yang Kai's perception of this Deng Ning is still good, although the other party's Demon Blood Temple is not very good, but there is no problem with having a private contacts. But he didn't expect that this time Deng Ning also came to the vicinity of Heavenly Fate City, and was also ordered to follow him with other people of the Demon Blood Temple sect. Yang Kai knew that he was also not a good people, and of course he didn't mean to blame. What's more, his friendship with Deng Ning is not deep, so there is nothing to care about. In response, Deng Ning looked at Yang Kai helplessly. Before he could speak, Yang Kai raised his hand and said, Brother Deng doesn't have to say more, since profound gold is what I have earned, it is absolutely impossible to hand it over. I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint you, please go back. The Demon Blood Temple cultivator's face darkened, and when he was about to say something, a burly man on the other side of 10,000 Beast Mountain laughed. Young man, don't say anything so big, listen first. It's not too late to make a decision on the conditions of my 10,000 Beast Mountain. Although my 10,000 Beast Mountain is no better than the Battle Sky Union and Thunder Typhoon sect, it is also a first-line sect, and it will not let you take a loss you won't be able to refuse. He speaks casually, but it is a little threatening. The Demon Blood Temple immediately sneered, my friend is so big, what other conditions can you offer? If you have enough capital, why back off at the auction? The burly man in 10,000 Beast Mountain snorted coldly, and didn't mean to pay attention to him. Instead, he stared at Yang Kai, his lips squirming, and the spiritual mind spoke, young man, I think you don't lack the Saint Crystal. Otherwise, you won't offer such high price at the auction, but you also know what our 10,000 Beast Mountain does, so I can give you 37th Order Monster Beast and 10 8th Order Monster Beast and teach you the way to refine them. As long as you can give me that piece of profound gold. Well, your small hill does not occupy a large area. If you are guarded by these monsters, it will be as solid as you want. Although I can't guarantee too much, I will definitely not wait for a small night. Dare to provoke, how? In all fairness, this price is not high, but it is not low, but it is definitely not worth the amount of Saint Crystal that Yang Kai paid. After all, the 7th Order Monster Beast is only equivalent to the martial artist entering the Saint stage, and the 8th Order Monster Beast is only equivalent to the Saint King stage. 10,000 Beast Mountain clearly meant to pick up a bargains, and Dragon Cave Mountain was guarded by layers of formations. What do you want these monsters to do? So even if the other party was still a little sincere, Yang Kai shook his head decisively. The man from 10,000 Beast Mountain frowned, and continued to transmit his voice, I will add you 5 8th Order Monster Beast. This is the highest price that 10,000 Beast Mountain can offer. You can answer after you think about it. As I said, it is impossible for profound gold to be handed over, since it has entered my hands. Please go back. Yang Kai looked at him lightly. Boy, don't refuse a toast to be forced a drink of forfeit. A small hill, believe it or not, I will level it now. The burly man was furious, and Yang Kai rejection made him very annoyed and angry. Listening to him being so intimidated, Yang Kai grinned. Okay, I'll wait and see how you level my Dragon Cave Mountain. You're looking for death. Murderous intent appeared in the burly man's eyes, but soon, he seemed to think of something, and looked to the side vigilantly, only to see that several people from the Demon Blood Temple sect were looking at him enthusiastically, as if wishing him to fight with that kid immediately. He immediately stunned, knowing that once he did it, he would only help the other group of people. He quickly pressed down his anger, sneered and stood aside with his hands clasped in a gesture of watching the show. He can't get the profound gold, so naturally he won't let the Demon Blood Temple sect group get it, otherwise, if he goes back, he won't be able to make a difference with Elder Feng. Moreover, this place is near Heavenly Fate City, and he doesn't dare to kill people at will. If it weren't for this time, Lady Feng and Xianxia had already come to Xianxia in person. It is because in the Heavenly Fate City site that they don't want people to say that they are bullying people. The Two-Third Order Void Return Realm experts will send their disciples to Xianxia to discuss the profound gold matter, and hope that Xianxia will know to hand over the profound gold. The Demon Blood Temple sect's person who saw the 10,000 Beast Mountain in the Void Return stage looked at him, but he did not evade, and said loudly, "I don't know what price this 10,000 Beast Mountain friend offered you. But I am willing to offer 20 complete blood slaves who are nationally beautiful and fragrant." What does the young friend think about this offer? After speaking, he looked at Xianxia very confidently, as if no one could refuse this condition. When all the people in 10,000 Beast Mountain heard the words, their complexions changed greatly, and the burly man even took a breath. 20 complete blood slaves, such a great offer. After speaking, he looked at Xianxia with a little restlessness, for fear that he would agree. After all, the temptation of 20 complete blood slaves is too big, and people simply cannot refuse. If the Demon Blood Temple is willing to give him such benefits, he can immediately betray the 10,000 Beast Mountain and join the Demon Blood Temple. Ha ha, compared to the power of the Xianxia elders, what are the 20 blood slaves? The leader of the Demon Blood Temple smiled and looked at Xianxia. The blood slaves have been cultivated, and in the entire Shadowed Star only the Demon Blood Temple can raise them. It can only be cultivated by my Demon Blood Temple sect, but if some special rituals are performed, the blood slave will be completely obedient to you until death, which can be described as heartfelt, and every blood slave's vitality can help the martial artist enhance the power of Qi and blood. With that said, he suddenly looked at a woman behind him with an evil smile. "This is one of my blood slaves." Immediately, he gave a jaw-dropping command, "Take off your clothes." The woman was taken aback when she heard the words, her face turned pale and her delicate body trembled. This woman has picturesque eyebrows, graceful waist, and looks full of charm, and doesn't know if she has practiced any charm technique, but the brows are full of charming style. Her cultivation level is not low. It was a Saint King stage, but after listening to the orders of the Demon Blood Temple, she really started to undress in the public, under the eyes of everyone. Biting her thin lip, the woman's face was pale, obviously reluctant, but she couldn't disobey the man's order at all. The sound of the rustle sounded. The male disciples of 10,000 Beast Mountain were dumbfounded, and the voices of swallowing saliva were constantly sounded, and the few female disciples showed contempt and spurned them. Pieces of clothing were taken off, and soon, the woman was left with only the obscene clothes that covered the vital parts. The skin was white, like mutton jade, and her body was shiny, which made her covering it with her hand. In particular, this kind of thing is what could make man full with lust, which has great lethal power to any man, and it makes people blood boiling with excitement. Seeing that she was actually going to take off the obscene clothes, Xianxia couldn't help frowning, showing impatience, and said in a deep voice, "I'll say the last time, profound gold, I won't hand it over. You don't have to try again." The complexion of the Demon Blood Temple Void Return stage expert changed slightly, staring at Xianxia, and said in a low voice, "The young man really wants to be so decisive, there is no room for accommodation?" Xianxia looked at him indifferently, too lazy to say more. Okay, young people are more ambitious than the sky. I hope you won't be thinner than paper." The man sneered, put down a cruel word, and wittily didn't do anything with Xianxia here. He and everyone from the Demon Blood Temple left with a wave of his hand. Before leaving, the woman, who was a blood slave, gently nodded at Xianxia, with a hint of gratitude on her face, grabbed the clothes on the ground, and disappeared. Deng Ning also cupped his fist to Xianxia. His face was full of apologetic look, and retreated with his elder. The people of the Demon Blood Temple evacuated, and the burly man from 10,000 Beast Mountain chuckled. "Young man, you can think about it carefully. If you think clearly, you can come to Heavenly Fate City to find me. The conditions you have proposed can be redeemed at any time." His face was amiable, and it seemed that all the unhappiness he had with Xianxia just now was nothing. After speaking, he actually took people away. A conflict was dodged, but Xianxia frowned secretly. He found that he had made more and more enemies during the recent period, but this was also helpless. Profound gold did have a great use, and of course he could not easily hand it over. Moreover, Dragon Cave Mountain was originally near Heavenly Fate City and was sheltered by the Shadow Moon Hall. Despite all the grievances with the Xie family, Shadow Moon Hall would not intervene, but if 10,000 Beast Mountain and Demon Blood Temple rushed to attack Dragon Cave Mountain, Shadow Moon Hall would not sit back and watch. These two forces can be ignored for the time being, but the Xie family needs to be considered. Originally, Xianxia planned to settle accounts with Xie's family after he left the last time, but now that he knows that Lu Yi is also at Xie's house, and even the people from Sea Heart sect have also gone to the Xie's family house, it's a little difficult to get started. It is needless to say anything about Dragon Cave Mountain defensive ability, but if the offensive power is slightly insufficient, this matter has to be discussed in the long term. For that Lu Yi, Xianxia is still quite afraid of him, just because the opponent can regenerate the broken arm. It was enough to make people shocked and vigilant, and it would be unwise to act rashly before understanding Lu Yi's details. Thinking like this, Xianxia turned and walked into the mountain protection formation. Yang Yan was waiting for him in the front, and did not go to rest. Seeing him return safely, it was not too surprising. She just waved at him and walked towards Cave Mansion. Xianxia smiled slightly and slowly followed. In the Cave Mansion, the two sat facing each other. Yang Yan stretched out her hand and said, "Show me the Star Emperor token." To be continued.